And in the background, you see Anthony sitting with Hawk and
Yes,
Dimitri.
Dimitri.
And I want them to hang out. I want the three of them. I want Anthony to be the new binary brother. Um,
Cobra Kai.
Kidding.
Nice pancake taco.
Seriously?
Don't worry about this Cobra Kai kid. I'll handle it.
The only way we win is if we work together.
Bonsai, I'm the Cobra Kai kid, and I am joined by Griffin Santapietro, who plays Anthony LaRusso in Cobra Kai. How are you doing today, Griffin?
I am good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's such an honor to be talking to you. I have wanted to speak to you since the beginning of the show. So this is really an honor. So I really appreciate it. I've always said like your character is one of the most underrated characters on the show. From the beginning, I was like, of course, I'm like this is like the son of the Karate Kid. Like we need to get him into the karate action, and there it
Right?
is, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, that makes two of us.
Have you been feeling like, did you in the beginning, like, I mean, when did it really hit you like that you are playing, like you're not just playing this character, it's like you're the son, like you're the next coming of Daniel LaRusso, the Karate Kid.
I know. I would say it hit me pretty much the first season. I had already been a fan of the movies. I already knew a lot about the show, so I think the first season was when it really hit me that I was playing the Karate Kid's kid. And then I think once we moved to Netflix and the show got so much bigger, I think that was another kind of shock. Um, but that one was mostly just like, I can't believe people actually watch the show.
Yeah. I think for me, the moment where it really, really like hit me, and I think this is like this was one of the biggest turning points for your character, was
Mm.
the entirety of episode 7 of season 4.
Yes.
When it was just you and Daniel, it's like we never really saw that. So like when he says, Anthony, go get changed, I'm like, yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, that is exactly what it felt like to do that scene. I mean, I I always thought there was a lot of potential with that father-son relationship, and episode 7 of season 4 was probably my favorite, or one of my favorite episodes to film. Just because it was like scratching that itch of like finally getting to do something with Daniel, and it was so much fun. I'm so thankful I got to do that.
Yeah. And I have to ask because I spoke to the creators, and I spoke to Hayden Schlossberg about this.
Mhm.
You actually had a line in episode 7 where you said, "Don't worry about this Cobra Kai kid." Was there
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
right. Yeah.
because so when I spoke to them, they said that it wasn't like an intentional thing where, okay,
Mhm.
we're gonna write this in for Cobra Kai Kid, but as they were writing it, they were like, oh, like Cobra Kai Kid, like this will make him happy. Did you? I have to ask, did you know about my channel at the time? Did you know about any of that?
I did. I did. I was basically aware of your channel since probably the beginning. I mean,
Really?
I always see, well, because like my For You page now is all Cobra Kai stuff. So or whatever you call it, explore page. So I knew about you since the beginning. But it never occurred to me when we are saying that line that I quite literally say the Cobra Kai kid.
Literally. So like I was like, I was freaking out in that moment. Like
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah. I know
N-
there you
No,
go.
that's rad. I never thought about that. It's so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a great episode.
Yeah, and the fact that you got to open the scroll, I mean, the scroll from Chosen, I mean, that was a big deal because Chosen gave that to Daniel in season 3. We didn't know what it
Right. Yeah.
was. You opened it, and so far it hasn't been explored. Daniel says that's a move that hopefully none of us ever have to use. I mean,
Right. Yes. Yeah. I believe I did you ever ask the writers about it when you had them on about what that's
I didn't ask them what that
'cause
meant.
I wanna ask them too.
Oh,
That's why
you
I'm
don't
asking.
you don't know what it means.
I don't know too much about it, but, I I'm excited to see what it's about. because I mean, it's kind of like I guess you could think of it as like I don't know, like a contingency. I guess it kind of is
Mm,
of whatever it may be. The way Daniel described it sounded like the last resource versus
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I have to ask because since it was your character specifically who discovered
Mhm.
it, I feel like it would only be fitting if your character was the one who used it. Like, do you?
Dude, it better be. No, I really I know I really want to see what they do with that. I actually saw someone edit they made like a little edit of that final fight from 5, but they made it look like I used that move on
Ah.
Dallas, which I thought was cool. Um but yeah, we still don't know what it is. I just want to know what it looks like. I just want, like when you describe something like that and you make it sound so badass, I want to see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's definitely got to be a setup. I mean, the writers are so genius at setting up things for the future. So
Yeah, I know. I hope so. I hope so. I'm excited.
yeah. So you mentioned like you saw like some fan edits. Like, how often do you like look at like the fan stuff on YouTube or?
Probably a little too much. I think it's also so new to me right now. It's not like it doesn't still doesn't feel normal to have people actually like online like making this stuff of me. But I would say most of the time I find it when my friends show it to me. Or mostly making fun of me. But then I I do kind of keep uh I guess tabs. That makes it sound like I'm stalking people. I like to look at this stuff. It's nice to know what kind of people think of you.
Yeah, yeah. What kind of like fan stuff have you seen that really like spoke to you? It was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
I would say it's only happened like 4 or 5 times, but I'm like a super big comic book guy. That's mostly what I do. It's like I read comic books all the time, and I've seen a few times people edit me as like comic book characters or superheroes they want me to play. So that's probably been the coolest to me. Um, and I like the wholesome ones that are fun, like me and my brothers. Sometimes they'll edit, or me and Dallas get a lot of edits together.
Yeah.
So anyone that's wholesome or superhero are the ones I watch the most.
So are you into like Marvel, DC, all of that?
Yeah, I would say I'm most. I can I kind of switch back and forth. I usually say that my usual statement is DC has better comics and Marvel has better movies, but it's kind of shifting for me right now. But yeah, I'm mostly big. I have to do it 50-50 with them. I would say I read them both equally.
Yeah. So the dream would be to be in a
Yeah,
movie.
absolutely. I mean, I think it's funny because I feel like that's the one question that almost every actor gets asked now is like, what superhero would you play? Because it's such a common thing in our kind of society right now. It's
Yeah.
like these superhero movies. But yeah, I mean, Robin is one that I've always really wanted to be because I'm just such a big fan of the character. Or I guess they got this guy now, but like Spider-Man. But
That Tom
once
Holland
that
guy.
once that Tom Holland guy, whoever he is, whenever he gets out of there, maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's so funny because even when I've done interviews with a lot of the Cobra Kai cast members, a lot of like I say like what roles do you want to play? And like Milena said superhero, AJ Higgs said superhero or supervillain, Una said that. So it's like, do you guys talk about that on set?
Yeah, I mean, I would say actually, funny enough, I end up talking about it the most because I feel like I have like that catalog of superheroes that I know I could play and my friends could play. So like I often people ask me what superheroes they think they should play, but I even remember when this was season 5 when I was talking to Sholo about Blue Beetle, and I was talking to him just about like what comics I think are really great for the character, and also Young Justice, the TV show, which is also really good for Blue Beetle. And we are just talking about that, which is kind of a pretty cool moment. And when I think back on it, talking, giving the Blue Beetle my comic recommendations. Um, but yeah, that's a pretty common conversation among us.
Yeah. And I see all those books behind you. Are you a big reader in general?
This is like my family kind of bookshelf. But I've been getting more into reading. I'm usually, comic book guy. I never really could sit down and read a book. Um, but I realized that actually there's this funny quote by Henry David Thoreau where he said that if you can read and you don't choose to read these like works of literature and all these important stuff, then you might as well not know how to read, which I thought was kind of really interesting. So I'm trying to slowly, but this is mostly my family stuff that we've accumulated over the last couple of years.
All right. It's kind of hard for me to see, but do I see some Diary of a Wimpy Kid books back
Yes,
there?
yes, those are the Diary of the Wimpy Kid books. And
You have all
this
of
is like
them.
this is like the kid section, I think. And then so it's Diary of the Wimpy Kid. I think there's the Goosebumps books.
Yes.
There's some Percy Jackson, maybe. Yeah, some Percy Jackson stuff. Basically, this is most of my older brother's stuff, I think. And then like it goes. This side is like all like stuff we've had to get for school, like textbooks and all that boring crap. And we have some cookbooks. It's actually very organized. I never knew that. Thank you for pointing that out to me.
It makes you look very sophisticated, like being.
It does. This
in
is
the
why I do all my
interview
interviews here because I want people to think I'm smarter than I am. So I do all my stuff here.
Like now, all you need is like some glasses and like a cup of tea to like.
Actually, I did do an Instagram live once where I had a cup of tea here because I wanted to look extra formal. But yeah, maybe glasses now. Wear like a tie next time.
Yeah.
Exactly. Have that academic look.
Yeah. So you have siblings?
I do. I have two brothers.
Okay. How old are your brothers?
Yes. My older brother is 19. And my little brother is 12. So I'm the middle. And yeah, so this is all of the books that we've read when we were like in middle school.
Yeah. So what's your relationship with them? Like what kind of stuff do you guys do together?
Well, we mostly, my older brother's in college. He's in college in LA, which is a little ways away. But my little brother and I is mostly just watching movies. Because I also watch a lot of movies. And I think that I've given myself this responsibility to my younger brother to show him the best movies because I want him to know, like I feel like if I put that role upon myself if I need to educate him through film. So it's mostly what I do with him. We mostly just watch movies and play video games. And then whenever I'm out in LA, I'll see my older brother. But we're all sort of like performative artistic people. My other brothers are much better at music than I am. So we like to do that stuff together. So yeah, mostly it's just like pretty normal stuff, but I do very much appreciate having them around.
Yeah. You're in Portland right now?
No, I was born in Portland.
Oh, you were born in Portland?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of people think I still live in Portland, Maine.
Okay.
I do not. I am still up north. But I'm not in Portland, Maine, which I figured out, which I'm kind of glad about because I realized that people, at least up north, they kind of have this, they feel a superiority towards Maine. Apparently Maine isn't as cool as I thought it was. So I'm kind of glad I don't live there.
Yeah. So how often do you go to LA?
Pretty often as of late. Since like season 4 and stuff has come out, I've been going out there a lot more for, auditions, events, just sometimes like seeing my brother. So I go out there a lot. I'm not the biggest LA guy. Like I just don't like. I like going there for like vacations, but I don't think I could ever live there. But I do go there often, and I have a lot of friends out there, so it's fun.
Yeah. Why don't you think you would ever be able to live there?
I just don't like. There's just things about it. It just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? And again, the very pretty place. I like. And again, not California, because I was actually talking to Sholo about this, and he called me out because I would say California, but really I mean LA. There's parts of California I think I'd really like. But for me, it's like I don't like the half suburban, half urban layout of LA. And it really bothers me how you can be like in a neighborhood and then a city like in 10 seconds. I don't like it. And I don't like the whole like mountain valley thing. I think it's whenever you're flying in, it looks really ugly. I'm gonna be honest. Anyone I told all my friends from LA this, so I'm not worried about them being mad at me. But I think it's a weird looking place. But again, I love going out there. But I don't know if I'm gonna live there. But who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe in a couple of years I'll think LA is the coolest place ever.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, it's especially being an actor. It's like all the opportunities are there. So
Right.
it's like,
Yeah. Like having my opportunities to go to LA is really I'm really thankful for. But something about just the LA vibe is not for me.
yeah. Okay. Have you filmed? Because I know Cobra Kai films in Atlanta, Georgia. They film some stuff in LA. Did you film anything for Cobra Kai in Los Angeles?
No, I was never part of the LA. I think it's because when we do those things, like we film in Georgia, but then when we do like the LA filming, or I know they went to Jacksonville in season 4, maybe for a couple scenes,
Hmm.
or maybe and then there was the Mexico, and then there was a little bit of Japan. Um, I remember always like there's like a 2-week break. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I realized everyone's just in a different country. So no, I've never gotten to film out, and I'm trying to think of what they usually film out. Oh, it's the arcade place from season 1, wherever that place
Yeah,
was.
golf and stuff. Yeah.
Golf and stuff. I believe that they did that in LA. But I'm mostly in the house or at the school. I'm mostly in the sound stages.
Mm. It's crazy how real they make it look. I mean,
I
the final
know.
product.
Because season 1 and season 2, no, season 1 we used a real house for the LaRusso house, and then I think it was season 2 or season 3 they literally just recreated all the rooms in a soundstage, and I believe they got all the furniture from the actual house, and it was kind of crazy because it looks so real. Like I don't think anyone watching the show would be able to figure out that this is not the same house used in every other season, but they just completely recreated it. And then like the Miyagi house as well, it's in a parking lot. I'm sorry if that ruins the magic for it. But yeah, they're really, I mean, the crew building ability on the show is fantastic. I mean, they're able to make the most insane stuff.
Yeah. So how, obviously acting is your thing, but how into the behind the scenes stuff, like like the set building, the lighting, camera work, are you into any of those other aspects of filmmaking?
I am. I think I want to start to explore that more. But I also think like in the industry as a 16-year-old kid, you are just like you don't have any 16-year-old kid directors. But I would really want to explore that stuff in my future because it really interests me. But as of now, I'm just much more into acting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're at a young age, you're seeing all this stuff, you're learning a lot, especially being on one of the biggest shows. So it's
Right.
great experience. And also, I mean, because Cobra Kai, I mean, like they talk about it all the time, it's such a fast-paced show when filming, like, and I know this, like how like some things it's like you need more time, but you don't really have that time. Like how is that, like the fast pace, did that kind of catch you off guard? How have you gotten used to that?
Yeah, I think that's just a part of working in this industry. And I really enjoy doing theater as well, but I haven't got to do it in a while. But I think that's kind of the biggest difference for me is that in theater you have a lot of stuff to do, but you have months to do it, get it perfect, right? But then on this, you are moving to someone else's schedule. Like you have to. It's not your. You have to be able to do your thing. You have to be able to do your job well in a specific amount of time. So I think it's a interesting sort of exercise. Really, it's a muscle that you got to start working on. So but I kind of enjoy the fast-paced nature of it. I think it's just I'm a kind of a person that likes to get things done, so I really enjoy it. But for other people, I can see how it's like super jarring.
Yeah, keeps it going, keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, it does. I think I like it because it's like you sit down and then you have to get up, or then you sit down and you have to wait for 4 hours, and then you have to go, and then you have to wait another 4 hours, and then you have to go again. Like it's super. It's just kind of a super fun, like everything is new, everything's fresh kind of thing.
Yeah. So what kind of musical, or was it musical theater or like dramatic theater?
No, I did like musical theater in like middle school. But I'm not a singer. I'm not a musician. My brothers are Like my older brother's a really good singer, and my younger brother can play like any instrument. But I think that gene skipped me. So I'm not super musical. I enjoy mostly um, like straight theater, but I think I like watching musicals. I just don't think I could ever do them. They're really intense too, like intense work to be able to have super intense scene and then go into a song and dance and then go back. That's a lot. I want to be able to do that. I just don't know if I have the pipes for it.
So what kind of shows have you been in?
I mean, I mostly did like stuff around like my school and stuff. But recently I've been wanting to get more into theater in New York, which is kind of
Mm.
where I'm aiming. Um, but I'm trying to think of my first play I ever did was what was it? Something it was like a play about Edgar Allan Poe for kids. It was like
Oh, okay.
the mysterious life of Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know, it was something weird, and I played a mouse, and it was my first thing I ever did, and I remember having a lot of fun with that, and I remember being super sick too. That was
Mm.
like a theme. Every play I would do, I'd get super sick. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not supposed to.
Would it just be like one night plays, or would you have to do it multiple times?
It was like 1 or 2 nights, I think. I mean, or at least for this one, I was fifth grade, maybe.
Yeah.
And it was my first time ever acting. But it was like 1 or 2 nights. Whatever people do in middle school.
Yeah. So that's something you hope to continue doing in the future.
Yeah, it's something I want to get back into. But just not like more in the future.
Yeah. So you're going to school right now. How is that going for you?
It's good. It's good. I mean, I've decided to stay, even with acting and everything, I enjoy being in in-person school. I know a lot of my friends who do online school end up actually going to in-person school anyway. So I enjoy it. I mean, I'm in my junior year, so it's kind of intense work-wise, because now you got to worry about college and
Mm.
grades a lot more. So it's a lot, but I enjoy it. I'm having a good time.
So you're planning on going to college?
I think so. I think it's kind of hard to like plan a lot of things in this business, Like
Yeah.
again, I have so many actors I can ask for advice. So I've talked to like Jacob and Sholo and Tanner and Mary about this, and the common theme I found with them was they want to go to college. And then I remember like Jacob, I believe his first year of college, he got Cobra, and then he
Mm.
didn't need to go to college because he was on a really popular TV show. And I believe Sholo might have been the same thing. I know Tanner got into college and they decided not to go because of Cobra. So I think there's a lot of different routes as an actor. So I'm not like I'm basically not in the position to say I'm gonna do this or that, but college is definitely something that I think I would enjoy. But we'll see.
Yeah. So do you start
Um,
applying now? Like how, or do you wait? Give it
no,
some
I
time?
start applications next year, but
Okay.
like in like a month basically is when the process starts, like college counselors and looking for colleges
Mm.
and SATs and ACTs. So it's like it's gonna be a lot, but I think it'll pay off. But I'm kind of in that thing of like, who knows? Maybe I'll go to college. Maybe the minute I go to college, Marvel will call and they'll be like, sorry, not going to college anymore. So who knows? Literally, anything could happen.
Yeah. Would you want the dorm life? Like, have a roommate? Would you want like to do that sort of thing?
For the
Or
first year, then I'm gone. I think sophomore year of college, I'm definitely living on my own.
yeah.
Because I know a lot of people who did the same, and boarding is fun for a year, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
people kind of get sick of it.
Yeah. And what do you want to study acting in college, or are you thinking of maybe doing something different, like studying something?
No, I think I would want to mostly go to college to expand like my
Mm.
work as an actor. Like that would be my main goal. But um, I'm also really big into. Well, actually, we were just talking about. I'm really big into like literature, and um, I don't know what exactly career path I would pursue in that category, but that could be a more of a secondary thing. but yeah, I would my goal would be to go to college to work on myself as an actor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, literature. I mean, your dad just wrote a book.
You're right. You're right. I actually that was one of the first books I was able to sit down and just like read it.
You read the whole thing?
No, I'm not done. I have
Oh.
like 2 more chapters left. But very good, and it comes out tomorrow.
I'm actually well at the time of recording this, I'm actually seeing him tomorrow for his book signing in New York City.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
So
That's wait. Are you in New York or
I'm in New Jersey.
New Jersey? Okay,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're tri-state area. You, Ralph, and I.
Yeah. So I'm excited to go check that out. And
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, super cool book. And I'm excited for people to see it. I think. No, I haven't. There's just one bit. There's just one page that has like these cool images from the first Karate Kid of like behind the scenes stuff that I think people are really gonna freak out about. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what people think.
that you haven't seen anywhere else.
I haven't seen it anywhere else. I mean, maybe like super big fans have already seen them like a million times, but I thought they were really cool because I'd never seen them before. So I think people would be really excited about that.
That's really cool. So would you want to get into like writing, maybe something like he did, like
I think that's like something I would enjoy doing. But again, that's more of like something I would do in the future. You know, as of now, it's just I really enjoy being an actor. That's what I want to do right now. But I think that that's something. I mean, I don't know what the heck I'd write about, but I think that's something that I would really enjoy doing.
yeah, maybe 30 years from now when they do the Cobra Kai sequel with you,
Right,
Dallas,
like the
and
sequel to the sequel.
you can write about
And then
that.
and I'll write a book called Waxing Off, and then it'll be the sequel. Yeah. I think we got something going here. I think this is the new plan.
Yeah. Okay. I want credit for that. I
will. Yeah. You'll have a mention in the
Alright.
book.
I want 50%. 50%. Just like
Okay.
my cards.
Okay. So not just a mention anymore. You want income. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. All of it. I'll
Got it.
I'll arrange your signings. All of it. We'll format it like Ralph.
It'll be a co-written book essentially.
You know what? I could just write it for you.
Yeah, I can just put my name on it and then just.
You can put your name on it. Like, well, we could tell people that you wrote it, but like, I'll actually write it, and then maybe we can just tell people that I wrote it.
I feel like I'm getting swindled out of here.
Oh, it's a great deal. I promise.
Okay. Yeah. I'll sign the contract. I won't even think about it.
There you go. So, outside of so you're into comic books, obviously acting. You're doing school. Like, what other hobbies do you do? Like, what is like a typical day for you look like?
Ooh. Well, I think between acting and school, which are things that take up kind of a lot of time, I've been trying to get into. Well, I mean, I got 4 years ago, maybe I got a skateboard, and I'm just now deciding to learn how to ride it. And I was taught because I remember I got a longboard, and then my little brother got like a whatever the other one's called, where you do like tricks and stuff. And I wanted to learn to longboard because I thought that was more approachable. And this was like a couple weeks ago. Because I thought, you don't have to do tricks, you just ride. And then that was until I rode down my neighborhood, and it was like a hill, like not that steep, but it went on for so long that I just kept building up speed. And then I bailed, and I like cut my arm, and I like went like head over heels, and I was just like, nope, I'm gonna learn the other kind of skateboarding. I'm not gonna do longboarding anymore.
Is the other type of skateboarding pennyboard? The really small one?
No, not the really small one. They're just the one that's like has
the right
2 curves on the end that you do tricks on. Whereas like a longboard has 1 curve and it's flat on the other side because you're just meant to ride it.
Do you know what a pennyboard is?
That's like the really small one, right?
Yeah, it's like probably like this big.
Yeah, I don't even know what the purpose of that would be.
I don't know, but it's like it's not for little kids. Like it's like actually it's
No,
like
yeah, like people, I know people like ride it around like their house and stuff, but I don't know what else you would use that for. Or you see the one that's like it's just two wheels, like one wheel in the front, one wheel in the back, and it's got that like really weird design to it, where it's like skinny in the middle and then fat on the ends. Here, I can find a picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to
Or
see that.
electric skateboarding. I feel like I
Electric
know a lot
where
of
you have
people
the
who-
like the remote in your hand.
yeah, the remote in your hand, you just have to balance.
Yeah. Balance is key.
What is this thing called? Yeah, whatever this thing is. It's so funky looking. That thing?
Oh, that
You ever see someone
swerves a
ride that?
lot. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, that's real. I've
Rip.
tried that. That's really tough.
ripstick, they're called.
Ripstick.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
And then
Never gonna do that.
there's like the one where it's like one long board with one giant wheel in the middle. And
In
you
the
have to-
middle,
yeah,
right?
you have to like
Yeah, that's like, but it's electric, right? That's
yeah, I
the one
think
that people
so.
use for like off-roading skateboarding.
Yeah. Have you ever done
Which is weird.
hoverboarding? You know the hoverboard?
No, I've always wanted to ride a hoverboard. They look so fun, but also again kind of scary
Yeah.
because I don't understand how you like accelerate yourself. Do you just like lean forward? Because that sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, it's like if you lean forward, it go, which is like crazy, but
Yeah, you like lean and then you go
Then you
forward.
fall.
That's no. Oh, look at. I'm just looking through now. These things. You ever see these
oh
people ride
wow,
these?
no, those are like rollerblades.
Yeah, they're kind of like hoverboards. I don't know. They don't look like they'd work, but I've seen videos of it.
I don't know if
Oh, roller skating. That's scary. I would never.
you want to roller skate.
Or rollerblading. Rollerblading is scary. Roller skating is fine. But it's
What
when
about-
they like just have the one skinny thing. Like that's scary.
Hmm. Yeah. What about ice skating? You ever go ice skating?
I have been ice skating. I used to play hockey when I was a kid.
Oh, cool.
But I was really, really bad at it. So I don't remember much of it. And the few times I've been ice skating in the last couple of years, I enjoy it. I'm not very good at it. I can go forward and just kind of stand there. But it depends. Like if it's a really crowded place, then I do not enjoy that. Because there's always that one guy that's like going like super fast around and it just feels like something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like ice skating in general, I do like.
Yeah. So would you say how is your balance when it comes to those sorts of things? Like, do you have good balance in general?
I have pretty decent balance. I think I'm trying to think of like a thing in which balance is super important. Well, I've done a lot of boxing, which is
Oh,
something
cool.
that balance is important in. So I think my athletic ability isn't exactly intense, but I have fairly good balance. I've better balance than the people who know me would expect. They would assume you put me on a skateboard, I'm gonna like cartoon like flip around, but I can for the general keep my balance pretty well. I just don't play sports.
Well, boxing's a sport.
Boxing is a sport. I guess I can't say that anymore. I never thought I would play sports, but I do really enjoy boxing.
Did you do boxing because of Cobra Kai?
Kinda, yeah. What did I do? I did it after season 4. So after like the whole getting beat up in the locker room thing, I kind of got that message that I'm probably gonna have to start learning. So I did, and then I just really ended up enjoying it because I've never really enjoyed like a super intense physical activity before. But it's really fun, and it's helped me a lot, I think, because especially like season 5, I mean, like that finale, we were moving really fast. They did not have time to teach me anything. Like I'm really glad I had that prior training because I think it made it easier for all of us in such a short time. Because if I went in there with no experience, it might have looked really, really stupid.
So
you that egg fight.
Yeah. So you've been doing a lot of training like outside of the show's stunt team, like on your own.
Yeah, because they train us pretty well. But again, I just haven't done. This is my first year doing it. You know what I mean? So like people like Tanner, Mary, and Jacob Joel, they've been training since season 1, and so they're like really good. Like basically, I mean, we have an amazing stunt team, but I will say that they themselves are pretty just badass. Like, I mean, most of like I've seen them do like, one of the directors would be like, do like a spinning back front kick or something, and they'll just do it. And it's like, I'm nothing near that. But I have in the last couple years started a bit of training. And so I think it's helped me. I don't know if anyone else, any of the team has been helped by it, but it's helped me feel more confident when I do these things.
That's cool. So, I mean, season 6 hasn't been written yet, so we obviously don't know what's going to happen. But I would assume that your character is gonna get even more into the karate. You know, like we're gonna. I think we'll really see some more fights with you. So, are you like? Since I think there is going to be a bit of a break, definitely not as quick as from 4 to 5. So you're going to have some time.
Right.
Are you like putting in the time, or are you like preparing yourself for, okay, like season 6? I'm probably going to have to step it up.
Yes, I mean, again, like with school and stuff, it's kind of hard to get back into like my gym for boxing, but on my own, I'm definitely trying to prepare myself the best I can, because I really enjoy it. It's really just fun to do. I've recommended martial arts to basically everyone who's kind of looking for a hobby, because it's a really great, it's a really great hobby, I think. And so I think for my own enjoyment and season 6, I will continue doing it. But I just want to know one thing. I want to learn like one cool thing that when I come back for season 6, I can impress everybody with.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure out the one thing I can do, and I'm gonna walk to season 6, and I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna hope someone is impressed.
You gotta like don't like post anything. Like don't even like show how good you are,
Yeah.
so that you come in and it's like, hey Griffin, and then you're just like boom, backflip.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if I learn something like that, my first impulse would be to post it, but I'm not. I'm gonna
Yeah.
save it. I'm gonna keep it in my back pocket, and then just even if they don't ask, I'm just gonna do it. You know, like Griffin, please stop doing that. I'm gonna keep doing it, and then I'll keep backflipping.
Yeah, because then you could even like, I'm sure if you tell like John, Josh, and him, like, hey, like I know how to do this, it might be
Oh, yeah,
something they
yeah.
could put in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They could definitely do that. So yeah, that's my new thing. I just want to learn one thing. I got to figure out what it is.
Yeah. So we were talking about like physical balance, like on like skateboards and all of that, but like how do you, because you have so much going on right now, how do you find balance in your life, like between school, the acting, boxing, reading, like you know, just like Daniel says, how do you find that balance for yourself?
It's I feel like every kind of couple months it's a new thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I wish there was just like one kind of schedule I could find that worked, but everything's kind of constantly shifting. I think it's like time management is really important. And it's not something I'm very good at. I'm a very good procrastinator when it comes to like homework and stuff. But I would say time management is really like the biggest thing. And then taking care of yourself is really important. I feel like a lot of people I've gone through like phases of like, you know, I have to stay up this late to do homework, and then I got to do this, and then I got to do this in the morning, and then I'm like, by the end of it, I'm just totally like out of it. Like it's not a very. It works a few times, you know, pulling an all-nighter, not sleeping, and just doing all this work, but then it's not sustainable. So I think self-care is super important.
Yeah. Well, props to you, because I mean, you know, like you're doing things that like I'm sure a lot of the kids at your school aren't doing. I mean, you're on one of the biggest shows in the world, but yet you're still in school, you're doing your homework, you know. So it's like props to you for not like for being able to like, I mean, because you're doing like you're working with Ralph Macchio, William Zabka, but then you come back and you do high school and you're working and like you're doing great. So like props to you for that. Like that's impressive.
Thank you. That means a lot. That's something that I'm super. I hope I can keep it up. We'll see. See how the school thing goes.
Yeah, of course. So if you could go back and tell season 1 Griffin something, like if you could like go back now, like knowing everything you know, and tell him like, hey, like I just want to tell you this, like what would you tell him at that time?
Ooh. Do I have like a specific like time frame, or do I just gotta like spit it out? I'm asking. This is probably a question no one would ask. But like,
you could tell him for however long you want. You don't have you have a day with him or
okay.
Wait, actually that's a totally different thing. I don't know. Whatever. How do you want to
I would say
answer
my first order of business is I want to make sure that he starts training.
Yeah.
Because I think if I started training then, I mean, I had no like I was a kid, like I didn't really, I wanted to train, but I just didn't know how. But I think if I got myself into training then I would be like super cool. So I would do that. I would tell him, ooh, what's another good one? I would warn him about like every bad test that I have coming up. Tell him to start studying. I would maybe that's kind of it. I mean, I feel like he's I want to let him learn things for himself. So training, tests, and um, and I'd say uh, season 5 is really cool. I'd say that.
Mm.
I would say look forward in 5 years. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, yeah. Did you like at the time, did you think ever that like you would be where you are now, like with your role on the show, with your life in general?
No, not at all. I don't think I ever would have guessed it. I mean, I was kind of in a completely different place. And I think I would have been um, really excited to know that I finally got to start doing this karate stuff and got a bigger part. And I think that, um, but at the time, I think I was just, I genuinely don't think I would believe myself if I told myself where everything went in life. But I think, sorry, I think that's the thing, with life in general is like, you can't really like predict it,
Yeah. You were how old were you when you started? 12, 11?
I was 11, I think. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
A long time ago.
Yeah. So I mean, you're practically growing up on this show. Like,
Yeah.
like that's a very important, like, I mean, these past 5 years are, I mean, probably a very crucial time for you and just growing up and learning. So like, how have you like grown because like being on Cobra Kai as like a kid to now you're like a teenager?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty crazy to think of it like that because, I mean, it doesn't feel like that long. You know what I mean? It feels like, um, because I feel like they kind of all like blend together because they're such big important moments in my life. Um, but then when I look back on it, it really has been a while, and it really was the way I grew up. So I think being around these people, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, one just from a learning standpoint, you know what I mean? I feel like I've learned so much from like Ralph and Mary, and especially like the family. Um, I've learned so much from, and I think I'm like I would be a totally different person without them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's such like a crucial part of and those are years that are very important for growing up. Like 11 to 16 is a big time of like changes in your social life, and you grow 6 inches in a week and you don't know why. Like it's a weird time.
Yeah.
So I think that being able to have this constant in my life I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. So Cobra Kai deals a lot with the themes of bullying, especially your character. Um, have you ever, like, in your life, have you ever experienced bullying or maybe witnessed any sort of bullying?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I was talking about this with Sholo and Jacob on the Lone Lobos podcast, which was we're talking about like being just like an actor and or like a young actor in school, like all of the, um, I think it's such an unknown thing to so many people, like no one really gets what it's like, that I think people make these assumptions about you. So
Mm.
like Sholo was talking about how like in his school people would talk to him and be like, wow, I really thought you were going to be like the worst, you know what I mean? Like there's just like social aspects of it that are totally different from just being a normal kid. But then also for me specifically, I mean, I was um middle school was like much more rough with bullying. I would say like 7th, 8th grade was kind of the first year I didn't get bullied. Because I think I mean, I was like an actor kid who didn't like sports. I was, if you look back at season 1, I was on the chunkier side of the equation. So like, people would, it was a pretty constant thing in my life up until, kind of like end of middle school, beginning of high school. I think that's when it kind of shifted for me. But it was, again, one of the nice things of having Cobra Kai in my life was that it was a break from like getting bullied. You know what I mean? Like I mean, sixth grade was kind of like, it was the first year I did Cobra. And then it was like the coolest thing ever. So it was like, I didn't care that I was getting bullied at the time because I was on this awesome TV show, having
Yeah.
the time of my life. So I think it's been something that really helped me.
Mm. So yeah, so how did you like really overcome that? Like, was it Cobra Kai? Was there anything else that you did to get through that?
I think having or having like friends or a support group of people that you really trust is important. Um, that was something I didn't have like in like, I guess I would say I'm gonna keep referencing back to sixth grade because that was kind of the worst.
Mm.
Which I think probably a lot of people can attest to. So I feel like once I got like a solid group of friends, that was really helpful. Cobra Kai was really helpful because it was like one, it was just regardless of getting bullied or not, it was so cool. It was like the coolest thing I'd ever done. You know, I was like a kid on the TV show. There wasn't much more I could ask for. And then I don't know. It's kind of like a different experience for everyone. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if you ever experienced stuff like that, but I mean, I'm sure there's like different ways that people deal with it.
Yeah.
Through like other people, working on yourself, talking to your family, like there's a ton of different ways, but it's important to know that it's not like the end all be all.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone goes through it. I've definitely gone through it, you know, just it's like sometimes it's like you can like feel so bad about yourself, and then when other people are saying bad stuff about you, it just like reaffirms everything. Is that maybe what?
Yeah. I mean, I think especially like middle school, which is kind of where Anthony was like getting bullied and stuff, was that like that's a time where everybody hates themselves so much that they start to hate other people for it, you know what I mean? So that's kind of, I think, like, you know, because in like high school and stuff, people are mean all the time, but I feel like it's a different animal where in middle school it's like everybody is so angry all the time, probably just because they don't like themselves very much, but they take it out on everyone else. So I think it's like you said, like when you don't like these things about yourself and then someone else brings it up to you or someone else starts to make fun of it, like that's when it hurts the most, because then it's not like just something someone's making up. It feels so much more real. But then it's like I kind of sound like a PSA when I talk about like, oh, everyone's going through their own, every bully has a bully, you know what I mean? But it's kind of true. It's the way it is. I mean, no one, especially around that time, like I don't think like very little people set out with such bad intentions, but it's just the way that it turns out.
Mm. Have you ever read the book called The Four Agreements? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's really cool. It's like one of those self-help books, and there's like 4 agreements that if you have this like kind of mindset about life, it's like it kind of just will help make things better. So like one of the agreements is don't take things too personally. So, and like referring to like if someone says like something about you, it's really a reflection of them and like what they're going through rather than about you, you know?
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, that sounds interesting. But yeah, I think that's kind of like what it is in general, is that most people do these things out of like, envy or insecurity. So I think once you understand that, everything becomes a lot easier.
Yeah. So what did if you had to give advice to someone out there who is going through that? Like, I mean, we kind of touched on that, but like, what would you tell someone who is experiencing bullying?
I think it's, well, I mean, I think that like the 3 things that I think were kind of important was, one, again, it's not the end all be all. It's not, it's a time in everybody's life where everything seems like it's the end of the world, but it's really not. There's so much more out there. I think what you said about not taking it too personally is super important, to understand that most people are just projecting their insecurities or their whatever on other people. Especially at the time. I mean, even I'm sure everyone's also guilty of it themselves. You know what I mean? Like it's a hard thing to kind of be in the social atmosphere and to have these issues with yourself, because it's always going to project itself onto other people. So I think understanding that is important. And like we talked about, like having a super, it doesn't have to be big or super cool, but just having us like some sort of support group or some sort of escape place is, I think, important for anyone.
Yeah. I really like what you brought up, because I mean, that's so true. It's like everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does stuff. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think also like to take people, in as not, what's the word I'm looking for? Not to take people as, there's a word here, there's a phrase here that I'm looking for.
I
To, I feel, oh no, people are, I feel like I've heard this before. It's like people are more than their mistakes, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like people
Yes,
are,
yes.
most of the time, if you see, like, there's a lot of situations where you see the worst in someone,
Mm.
but that doesn't mean that's all the person is.
Yeah, yeah. So did you find that like as an actor, like for you, because Showa was, talking about how, like, as you mentioned, Showa said like people just assumed he was this, he was that. Like, were a lot of people like stereotyping you as an actor? Did you have to deal with that?
Yeah, I think there's a general like of people would think that you're pretentious, or people would think that you're weird, or like just being like, because it's a super different thing. Like I kind of understand that. That's one of the things, is that you have to just look at it from their perspective of, if they've never met an actor, you know what I mean? Like it comes off as a very foreign idea. And it's kind of like a thing. Like a lot of actors are pretentious, so they probably thought I was as well. You know what I mean? So it's like that's one of the things that you just kind of have to understand from their perspective. And but yeah, like Shola Jacob and I were talking about that, is that it is such a different idea, and people don't get it. They don't get that, like, you're they don't get like how hard it can be being an actor. They don't get how it doesn't really make you a pretentious person inherently. That's more of a byproduct of it. But I think once you get to know people and it kind of changes their perspective on it, that's really important.
Yeah. So in Cobra Kai in season 4, in the beginning, you did play a bit of a bully role, towards Kenny.
Yep.
A little bit. So I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Only a little.
only a little. I mean, you're obviously a really nice guy in real life. So was that tough for you to get into that mind? Were you ready for the challenge? How was that?
I think um, it was a little difficult. I mean, I think being like um, kind of mean in general is just a difficult thing for an actor. But I think honestly, I kind of had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Just because it's so, um, it's not like the idea of like stealing like Dallas's clothes in the locker room, like that was like fun. Like that was like a lot of fun to do. And I think also being as close as friends as I am with Dallas, it made it a lot easier, because it wasn't just some kid that I don't know well. Now I'm like bullying him. Like it was like a very good friend of mine. So I think Dallas and I being such good friends has made it really easy to have this like bully victim thing and keep switching it. So I think having him around made it really easy. But by the end of it, I had a lot of fun. But in the beginning, I was a little nervous. Um, and then it switched, and then I was the victim, and he was the bully. Um, and actually, Dallas and I both talked about how, I think we both said this. I don't want to speak for him, but I believe we both talked about how we both enjoyed playing the bully more.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like the you get to have a lot more like fun with it. But yeah, like I really enjoyed season 5 as well, because I was a victim, and then I also got to like have these fun moments with like the dojo.
Yeah, definitely. And something else I want to talk to you about is like your character in particular has some of the best one-liners in the show. Like you have a response to everybody, to everything, and
Right.
like, and I truly feel like these lines, you could write them, they could look funny on paper, but if they're not delivered like the way that they're intended to come out, it won't work. So like for you, I mean, how do you like take these lines and really make them like, I mean, iconic, like all of your interactions with Johnny, with Sam, Daniel, like how do you make these one-liners work?
I think actually I think what helps me a lot is that I do watch so many movies, and I have kind of like that, and eh, that kind of style of comedy, like those one-liners, or something I've seen so often, that I think I had that kind of idea of, I know how this is supposed to look. And that was like since season 1. Like I remember my first scene with Johnny was like really fun to do, because I had wanted to do something like that, because I'd seen so many people do it in movies. So I think that having that sort of kind of, it was almost like studying, you know what I mean? So like having that in my, knowing how that's supposed to work was really helpful. And then I think being with people who are really fun made it easy. Like it felt a lot more, especially with like Johnny, like, because with Billy, I was a little nervous, because I was like, I'm just gonna straight up insult this guy who's like way cooler, and you know, he's like an adult and I'm a kid and I'm about to assault him. But he was so like nice and fun that I didn't feel nervous.
Yeah, yeah, especially with that scene in season 1 where you know, with the whole like ketchup, like my dad could have killed you, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
Like you can't be nervous there because what works so well about that scene is your confidence. Like you own that guy, you
Right.
own the house.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like if I were like a little nervous about it, it wouldn't work. I would the point of especially like season 1 to 3, Anthony, he's just pretentious. You know what I mean? Like he has that confidence that I don't. So I think that being in such an easy work environment, especially as a kid, made it really special because you know, I was a kid who was literally nervous about doing anything. But like, you know, like the John, Josh, and Hayden, I mean, they were just such great people to be on set with that I think it made it so much easier.
Yeah. I do want to ask you, because in season 1, you were in the season a lot. You had a lot of great scenes, and then season 2 and season 3, it started to become like less. Like season 3, you were only in one scene.
Mhm.
Were you at all like concerned that maybe like before they told you like, oh, you're gonna have a big part in season
Right.
4? Was it like concerning like in season 3 being in only that one scene for you?
Yeah, I mean, season 3 especially. I mean, season 2, I feel like I don't remember like being like super like upset about it, but I remember season 3 was kind of, especially like as a kid, it hit a lot harder. You know what I mean? Because I
Mm-hmm.
like now I think I have a better understanding of like the industry and stuff and how sometimes it's just the way, you know, the cookie crumbles. Like they had a lot going on this season. I was just the kid on set, you know, like I wasn't like in hindsight, like I get it. But as a kid, I was like, oh my God, you know, they hate me. Like, this is it. This is the end. It felt more personal, you know what I mean? Because I was like at that age where everything felt personal. And because I even remember, I believe season 3, they might have released, I don't remember. I think season 3, there was another scene I had that got cut out.
Yes, in
Because
the
there's a
first
popsicle
episode.
scene. Yeah, and then there's another scene I had, and so like when I found out that got cut out, I was like, oh my God, no. But then it was season 4 when I had because I was up for another show at the time, and it was like a little like it was going to be a conflict, and then I had a meeting with John, Josh, and Hayden, and that's when they kind of told me that they told me about the Anthony Kenny stuff. They told me about me and like Ralph, and that was like just I was so excited when I heard that. And it was like finally, you know, it was like it was such a win. So like I think, you know, if you were to talk to season 3 Griffin, he would probably be freaking out, but that it was worth it in the end.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I was very upset after I saw season 3. I'm like, they're doing my boy Anthony dirty.
Thank you.
Of course. I mean, it's like, once again, son of the Karate Kid. It's like, I mean, like, even like I always said, like when Mr. Miyagi wrote his letter to Daniel, he's like, Sam makes me feel like a grandfather. I'm like, what about Anthony?
What about the other kid? Yeah, that was like and also it didn't help because people on the internet were so brutal at the time too. Yeah. They would like make memes and stuff about this poor kid. But also like that they addressed it, you know what I mean? In season 4, I haven't seen throughout where I'm like, I talk about Mr. Miyagi and I'm like, you know, I everyone has these memories of this guy. Yeah. But I don't, you know what I mean? So they kind of addressed that of him being left out. But it was just a meme at the time. It was just like this poor kid just wants to be noticed by his family and no one cares about him. Oh my God. He's honestly so like sometimes I'll look at like, I'll see like sad fan edits of him and it'll be like, hey, this kid's kind of sad.
Yeah, I love how they address it, like that they're terrible parents towards Anthony. It's like I always like make these like jokes. It's like Anthony's probably out doing all this stuff, you know, and they have no idea because they're just like Sam.
Right, and then I remember I saw like the other day of like when Anthony came home and was like, well, it was whenever the whole bullying thing happened and his parents like got all mad at him, and then I saw one about. And then it like cut to the scene in like season 3 or season 4 where Sam calls it this school fight, and then the parents are like, "Oh, are you okay?" It was so funny.
Literally. I mean, okay, well, he's getting the respect he deserves now.
He's getting there. Yeah.
That's what matters. So how similar and different would you say you are to the character of Anthony, like in real life?
I would say we're both pretty compassionate. That's a word that I would use to describe him. I think he does care more about people than he's letting on. We're both pretty nerdy, big video game guys. I feel like he would enjoy most of the same things I enjoy. But besides that, I mean, I think also it's interesting too because I am older than Anthony, and so I think like when I try to compare myself to him, I compare to my 13-year-old self, which I kind of see a lot more of like someone that definitely struggled with wondering like should he care more about what his friends think about him or what he actually does? You know what I mean? Like peer pressure. That was something that was I'm sure when I was 18, I'm sure when I was 13, I was super susceptible to. So I think that there's aspects of us that are very similar. Especially season 5, Anthony. I really like season 5, Anthony.
Yeah.
I would like to think that I don't think I would ever bully someone as much as he bullied Kenny, but the season 5 Anthony, I think, is a lot like me.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite Anthony moments in season 4 that I think gets very overlooked. Like, I don't think like a lot of people really talk about this, but it's like a line that has like a lot of meaning to it. So when you're playing basketball and Zach is like, come on, like bust out some of that karate. You say like, I can't, like those moves cause serious brain damage. And it's
brain damage,
yeah. And it's like that one line, because it's like, you don't actually know karate, but you also have this family legacy. Your dad is the karate kid. Your sister is this martial artist. Everyone knows you as like part of that family. So it's like, you're kind of like, it's the insecurity and you're kind of acting like, oh, like I'm still, oh no, I do it, but you really don't. Like, did that arc like mean a lot to you?
Yeah, I think that line, I mean, it's interesting you bring it up because I think that is pretty I think it's a lot deeper when you look at it. But I think that was something that I was really interested to explore about, like, what does Anthony's life, how has Anthony's life been affected by all this karate stuff? You know what I mean? Because up until now, we never really thought he cared. But to find out that he's just been lying to everybody and telling them that he can do it, like that's super interesting. And so yeah, like you said, I think that's a really important line about how maybe he wants to be a part of all this. He just doesn't want to talk to his family,
Yeah. I love that arc. I feel like season 4 just explores a lot of really great stuff with the characters. So I'm excited to see what the future holds. I do have to ask also, season 1, I mean, the pancake tacos. How are those?
The pancake. Let me try to remember. I remember. Okay, what is it? It's a pancake, bacon, whipped cream. I think there's one more thing that I had in there.
There was a lot of syrup. There's a lot of syrup.
A lot of syrup. They wanted me to put a lot of syrup and a lot of whipped cream. I would say I would give it like a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. That's it.
Well, it depends what you put in it. I don't remember having much content. I remember like pancake. I think it was like pancake bacon. I feel like that's all. I remember. But if you put like more breakfast foods in there, it'd probably be really good.
So in real life, you're a fan of the pancake taco.
In real life, I've never had it, but I believe the idea of a pancake taco is have you?
Wait. I need to tell you the funniest thing yesterday, or the funniest thing. Okay. I swear, obviously I'm interviewing you today. Yesterday, I was ordering breakfast and I swear I've never seen this before. On the menu, there's like pancake tacos. I never saw that before until yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't even know they served that.
Yeah, it's like they have all this, it's literally like a taco, but pancake, and they have all this stuff inside it. I never saw that. It's a real thing.
Yeah. Okay, well now I know it's a real thing. I'll give it a try. But yeah, I do like pancakes though, so I feel like I would enjoy the pancake taco.
Yeah, I just feel like that's where my my love for Anthony came, was like the pancake tacos. I'm like, boom.
Yeah.
It's great moment. So you also got to work with Robin Lively. who plays Jessica Andrews in
Yes.
season 5, which was pretty cool. I mean, can you talk about working with her? Did you watch Karate Kid 3 before? Did you know who she was?
I did. I had seen Karate Kid 3 before we filmed season 4. Because I know I had seen the first two before even season 1, and then I saw the third about midway through filming. And so I was super okay. So I didn't realize until we were filming in the Ohio bit that I didn't realize that it was her. Like I thought like she was like I knew it was like Amanda's cousin. Um and then I was like the name Jessica Andrews. It sounds so familiar. I knew it was something. And the way they wrote it in the script, I knew it had to be a character.
Yeah.
And so I was like thinking, I was racking my brain, and then midway through, I was like, "That's the girl from the third movie. That's who she is." Which was super exciting. But yeah, I mean, she was so great to work with. It's such a fun person. And that Ohio stuff was really, really great to film.
Did you not know who she was? Like, was it before filming, or was it like after you met her, you still didn't know?
It was right before we started filming.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I had read it in the script, and I was like, Jessica Andrews, like they put so much emphasis on it in the script. I was like, that has to be someone. And I
Yeah.
was like, who is it? And then when we like the first day of filming, I was like, because I saw her, and then I was
Mhm.
like, now I know who you are. You know what I mean? But before I was like, the name. They're putting so much emphasis on this person. Who is this? And I mean, it was just like she was such like a honor to work with. I mean, she was so fun and professional that I think that was probably one of my favorite stuffs. My favorite thing to film.
Yeah, and you get to have White Castle too. Referenced Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
We did have White Castle. It was cold White Castle. So I hear I don't think that's how you're supposed to enjoy it, but we did.
Yeah, and also, what was it like putting on? Like when I saw you in that Miyagi Dogi in episode 8 of season 5, I'm like, yeah, this is what we've been waiting for.
Exactly, right?
How is
Yeah,
that moment for you?
that was pretty cool. Here, let me see if I can find the picture because I took a lot of pictures in it when I first put it on.
Yeah, because you looked like
I
Daniel kind of with longer hair.
I was so excited about that, and oh, I have to make a second post for season 5 because I have so many pictures from the finale and the Sekai Tekai thing.
Yeah.
But where is this? I have to go so far back. Oh, aha!
Wait.
This is the first time I put it on.
Oh my
Yep.
God, that's awesome.
I immediately took mirror pics. And then I think this is the first time I was in hair and makeup with it.
Oh, that's sick.
So that was super fun. I was super excited. I just felt like, except I did realize that Miyagi-Do has the most uncomfortable gis.
They're uncomfortable?
Like, because everyone else's is like basically like pajamas. Like they're so like the Eagle Fang ones and the Cobra Kai ones are really comfortable, but the Miyagi-Do ones are so because it has that like shape to it, but it's like it's not it's professional. You feel like you are like there to fight. It's not like you can't move in it, but it's like the other ones feel like you could take a nap in. So I want to see. I just want to steal an Eagle Fang gi and wear that instead. But the Miyagi-Do ones are like, you have that shape to you. It kind of forces you into that like karate stance.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a little too personal, but I'm just curious. Like, you have underwear under that? Like, is that it? Like, is there anything- I'm
what's
so
crazy? Let me
curious.
try to remember.
Like, do you have like any like I don't know.
I'm looking back through these pictures. No, you have.
Have you ever been asked that before?
No. No. Okay, well I know the shirt part is just that you just wear that. You don't wear a shirt under it.
Yeah.
But I think they give you no, I don't know if they give you any under. I think they're just pants, like normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe, and then you get these like well, okay, so this is another picture I took. Well, this is a video
Sick.
actually of me practicing. But then you get to wear these oh wait, there's probably a better picture. Yeah. You wear these little like toe things.
Those look uncomfortable.
they're they're basically just paper and like so like you're just walking around barefoot essentially. It just keeps you cleaner because it's for when you get on like the mats and stuff, so you can take your feet out and they don't dirty up the mat. So they're really just like socks, but um, but yeah. So that was a pretty cool moment putting on the gi.
Yeah, yeah, that was definitely awesome seeing you do the moves, like, with Robbie.
Yeah, yeah. With the Robbie, that was so fun.
Pretty surreal. So I want to ask, if you could play any other character on the show other than Anthony, who would you
Ooh,
play
okay.
and why?
Ooh, I think Hawk would be pretty fun.
There you
I think he's got a really interesting character arc, so I think playing Hawk would be really great. Robbie's cool, um, but I don't know. I think Hawk is pretty rad. I also want to try the Mohawk, um,
go.
and then maybe Silver.
Oh, nice, nice.
Like that would be really cool.
Yeah. So if you read the script and it says Hawk gets all his hair cut off, like would you mind cutting off? I see the hair is. How important is that hair to you?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's let me adjust it. It's I had it short one time, like for like eighth grade for a second. I got it pretty short. Which I'm glad I tried because I always want to know what it's like to have short hair.
mhm,
But I did not enjoy it for as long as I would. I think I don't know. It feels like it's just a part of me. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Like it got really long for a second. So this is like after this is like post haircut hair, and this is as like short as I want it. So shaving it off would be intense, but I'm willing. I'm willing to shave my head for a role. I just it's gonna be intense. It's gonna be intense.
Yeah, it'll be like a very like you'll have to have like a memorial,
Well, yeah, well, because I'm gonna look weird with no hair. Like I have a very odd head shape, and my hair suits it very well. So I think if I went bald, it would be very jarring for everyone around me.
Do you is that how your hair looks when you wake up? Do you have like any hair routines?
This actually isn't like usually my hair's like sticks up more. Like I don't really like it when it's like too flat like this, but this is basically just how it looks. I mean, um, when it's really long, I need to put product in it because it won't curl. I'm saying this because I just found out this like a week ago because for a while I thought my hair was dead. I thought my hair was done curling. I thought it was just going to be flat and weird forever. But then I realized it was just so long and it's so much heavier that it couldn't be what it usually is. So then I got it cut and it just started doing this again. So this is mostly just the post shower look. Um, but usually it can be like messier. And if I want to tame it, then I'll put like a gel in it. Um, but luckily, I would say this is the one of the better Italian genes I inherited.
And when filming Cobra Kai, I mean, you still had that long hair. Were the writers, the creators, was that always a thing? Was there ever consideration we want Anthony to have shorter hair?
Well, if you notice, like up until season 5, I had this kind of like weird, like flat kind of look to my hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't a huge fan of it. I just feel like I don't like my hair flat. It looked fine. It's just like a personal gripe. And so season 5, I got to keep my natural hair. But what's funny is I don't remember if that was a choice, but what I do think is that I believe season 1, I had the guy that was like doing my hair. I think it was just so long that he didn't really know what to do with it. So he just like flattened it all out because it's a lot to work with, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think like he flattened it all out and then it just kind of stayed like that. And so and then I remember like season 4, I was like, please, please, please let me change my hair. And then it was season 4, I don't think I really wanted to, it seemed like they just wanted to keep it the same. So I was like, okay. And then season 5, I was like, I'm just going to change my hair. So I like that I got to keep my natural hair in season 5, but it's the Karen haircut, I call it, is what I was getting.
The Karen?
I believe it's very Karen, if I remember correctly. No, try. I haven't found a picture.
Yeah. I feel like you look older with this hair. I don't know, more.
Yeah. This is the See, I believe this is season 4. I would consider that a Karen cut. I would consider that Karen hair. But then, oh no, never mind. Season 3 is when it's maximum Karen. That's a Karen cut. Season 4 was fine. Yeah, season 4 is basically my hair.
Yeah, it's like you. There you go. There you go. Yeah, like each season you have a different hairstyle, different.
Yeah, well, I think also that's like kind of on me because I like my nervous thing is I put my hand through my hair all the time.
Mhm.
That's just like a tick I have. And I remember season 4, Candace, the lovely lady that does my hair, she would get really annoyed at me because I would keep putting my hand through my hair. In a bit of rebellion towards the Karen haircut, I wanted to push it back, but also just it's so natural for me. It's just like hand through the hair, hand through the hair. So we started making bets that I would get $20 every day I didn't put my hand through my hair. And I only got $20 once, so clearly I wasn't very good at it.
How many for the whole duration of filming?
It was towards the end. It was when she discovered that she could bribe me. So it was only like a few weeks left when we made that deal. But I think I only went one day. But hey, I got $20.
There you go. I remember in the Sekai Taigai episode, I saw like seeing you and Sholo next to each other. Like that, both of you guys, like your hair was very similar. It kind of got you guys.
Well, we realized that in season 5 that that may have been a good reason why I didn't have my natural hair, because Sholo and I have very similar hair, and we both do this thing where our hair like wings, where like the sides will like go up like that, and then the front will do this middle part thing. So I actually think Sholo and I have like basically the same hair, and so that was a part of the reason I think why my natural hair might have been a little confusing, because people actually. I think my first day when I used my natural hair, I believe people actually thought I was Sholo, which I don't really know how you confuse us that, but we have the same hair, so I think from behind people might have thought we were the same person.
Yeah,
from afar, it was from afar. People would think I was Sholo.
Oh, okay. I can see that. I kind of like when I saw it at first, I was like, I kind of got you guys mixed up.
Yeah. From like afar, people would be like, they wouldn't know which one it is, and then they'd step closer and they'd be like, oh, that's Griffin.
You know what would be great is if everybody just got like you and Sholo's haircut and you all were just together and you all look the same.
Yeah, and then we all like wear certain lifts, so we're all the same height. And then that'd be interesting. Dallas with my hair. Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah. Do you I mean Dallas left Cobra Kai at the end, or Kenny, I know you kind of get them mixed up, but Kenny left Cobra Kai at the end of the season. Is there you want to see the two come together, like be friends?
I do. I think Anthony would want them to be friends, but it's really up to Kenny. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of the one that's the most adamant about them not being friends. So if he starts to make up his mind that they can be friends, then I think they will be. But up until then, it's kind of in his hands.
Yeah. And if you could have a scene with any character in the show who you have not yet had a scene with, who would you want to have a scene with, and what would you want that scene to look like?
Ooh, interesting. I think not had a scene with. Okay, so that leaves like there hasn't been an Anthony and Miguel scene.
Yeah.
There hasn't been an Anthony. Oh, I know. I would want Anthony, because there was a bit actually in the end of season 5 when everyone's like recuperating after the fight, and in the background you see Anthony sitting with Hawk and Dimitri, and I want them to hang out. I want the three of them. I want Anthony to be the new binary brother. I think here, there's pictures.
Yes. Yeah.
I want that to be a thing. So I want the three of them to hang out. And I think that they could be both like co-mentors to Anthony.
Binary triplets,
yes. Jacob had this really good idea that like Hawk would be like a much more aggressive mentor to Anthony, and then Dimitri would kind of be like the mom and would be like be like nice to him and kind of take care of him, and they would both like be his like mentor character, which I think would be super cool.
Like a good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, like Hawk would like teach him like the super aggressive karate and teach him like all this like aggressive stuff and kind of be mean to him, but then Dimitri would teach him like the defense and be this kind of motherly figure to him. So I think that'd be very, very cool.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the best parts for me about Cobra Kai is like you like grow so close to these characters, and as the seasons go on, I love seeing new interactions.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean everyone, especially like everyone's got their mentor too, you know what I mean? So I think to give Anthony like a co-mentor would be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Dimitri and Hawk. Awesome. And have any of the lessons from Miyagi-Do, like have they helped you in your personal life? Like, can you recall?
I think so. I think the like you were talking about like balance and taking it slow and defensive has been really important. I this summer, or I guess like right before the summer, I was learning to drive for the first time.
Oh, cool.
So I think there's a lot of importance about being defensive and not offensive in driving, which is very Miyagi-Do. So yeah, I'd say in general it has important life lessons. But I have not been. I want to see how these lessons fare in a fight. I want to see the next time I'm in a fight. I want to use my Miyagi-Do teachings.
Yes. So I'm curious to hear what you would say if you could join any dojo in real life. Miyagi-Do, Cobra Kai, or Eagle Fang.
I feel like I would. I don't want to say it, but I feel like I would end up joining Cobra Kai just because it's like again, like if I don't know like the inner workings of the drama, I feel like Cobra Kai would seem the most appealing. But if I knew everything, I would actually. It depends. It honestly depends. Maybe right now I would join Miyagi-Do, but if you asked me like a year or two ago, I'd probably say Cobra Kai. But I think maybe right now, Miyagi-Do would be the place for me.
You seem in the middle, so maybe Eagle Fang.
Or Eagle Fang. Yeah, I just think the having your dojo in like an abandoned warehouse seems a little sketchy to me. I think from a logistical standpoint, I don't know if I would be down for that.
Yeah. And I just want to ask, what has been the biggest lesson or takeaway for you from being in the industry as a whole?
Ooh, I think that it's important to stay like professional, which is like makes a lot of sense, I think. But I don't know, just making sure that you're always like doing your job. You're not you can have fun, goof off as much as because I do it all the time. But I think just to make sure that you're there when you need to be, and have that important work ethic is really, really special. I also think it is probably the industry or one of the industries that will test your endurance more than any other industry. I mean, to be able to, for years on end, be able to deal with so much rejection and to still continue is probably the hardest thing that an actor has to go through. And that's when I was talking about like with like the social atmosphere at like school and stuff with actors, is that's kind of the one thing that people don't understand is that it's actually like emotionally it has a lot of weight to it. Being an actor, it can be tough. You know what I mean? Like it is going to test. You have to be able to face every insecurity about yourself, and then you have to be able to deal with rejection more than anyone else. So I think that parts of it it's just really important to like stay strong. But also if it gets too intense, to know when to stop, you know what I mean? So it's like, it can be really intense at times, but it's worth it.
Yeah. You're 16 years old?
Yeah.
Crazy. You're so knowledgeable and like you have all this like wisdom. Like
yeah, I'm wise,
you're a LaRusso. You're
Yeah, I got that wise nature.
You got the Mr. Miyagi nature.
Yeah.
No, but I'm very impressed, and I think like yeah, especially being like, I mean, being an actor at such a young age, like I mean, you're introduced to a lot of stuff that I'm sure, like yeah, I think I mentioned this before, like kids at your school are just not exposed to yet. I mean, like you're working with adults, you're dealing with real life things right now.
Yeah, I think that's another thing is that you feel like less of a kid. You know what I mean? Or at least you've experienced things that most kids have. Like you're working with adults who are all stressed out. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you get a much more. And again, it's like it's plenty of people would argue that acting isn't the real world, but I would say that you get these experiences that are super unique and form a lot of your personality that people won't understand. So it's just something you got to deal with.
Yeah. And the fact that you're dealing with it now, it's like it'll help in the future. Cause like, yeah, that's like a big thing that I'm dealing with now is just trying to find balance in my life. And I wish I started that a couple years ago. But I think, it's really good that like, you're experiencing all this stuff now. It'll definitely pay off.
Yeah. No, it's super important, I think.
Yeah. So last question for you, other than Cobra Kai, do you have any other projects you're working on? Like where can fans find you now?
Oh, there's some stuff in the works right now that I'm excited for people to see. Just this summer, I worked on something that will, well, at least I'll announce when it's coming out. Whenever that happens. So I'm excited to see, but mostly just trying my best.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Griffin, I want to thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was such a fun interview. I really, I mean, I knew you as Anthony Russo. I've seen a lot of your interviews, but I really wanted to get to know you on like a deeper level. And I mean, like I'm just like it was really great talking. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Yes, thank you. This is really great. I also very much enjoyed this.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody out there watching. Griffin, where can people find you on social media?
I'm on Instagram at just Griffin_Santopietro, and I'm attempting to use TikTok, but I'm at let me find it. I'm at real_Griffin Santopietro. But we'll see how long I continue that.
Just don't post any videos of milk coming out of lockers onto people.
Yeah, I won't do too many bowling videos, but maybe a little.
Okay, fair enough. Anything you want to say to the fans before?
I mean, I guess just a general thank you for everything, watching the show, being supportive. And I think I think it's pretty clear, especially at this point, that the show would not be here if it weren't for the fans. So I guess it's just a big thank you.
Yes. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time on Cobra Kai Kid. And until then, remember,
Cobra Kai never dies.